First with breaking news. First with new information. Plus, your first alert forecast. 19 News starts now.
A fight and, of all places, a winery puts one man in the hospital and another behind bars. The whole thing was caught on security camera video. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. First at 4 and streaming on 19 News Plus. Nikki has the day off today. Brittany Weir is live for us in Portage County. Brittany, you spoke to the sheriff. So what did he have to say about all this?
Brian, the Portage County Sheriff described the whole fight really as a melee, and he said it all started over alcohol when people tried to take that alcohol from the winery and bring it onto a boat, something he says violates their liquor license. Security video from the Cove Winery shows the setup, tables, the bar area, and people gathered near the water. The video also shows the moments before investigators say a dispute turned violent. Portage County Sheriff Bruce Zakowski says it all started when people tried to take alcohol from the winery onto a boat.
One of the bartenders tried to talk to one of the women about, you can't take the alcohol from here onto the boat. I think 3 different times she tried to talk to her, and then her son, who's in the Army, military, had a couple of his friends there, and they started getting rowdy and obnoxious.
The sheriff says the confrontation escalated into a brawl involving about 10 people. The security video stops before the fight itself, but Sheriff Zakowski says the winery owner, Dave, stepped in to help the bartender.
He was trying to help another bartender, this irate person, this Eric Blouse, who was the one that punched Dave, the winery owner. He was just trying to stop and separate, and this Eric just gave him a blow right to the face.
According to the sheriff, that punch cracked the owner's jaw. He says the owner then fell backwards and hit his head on the concrete. Eric Blouse was arrested Tuesday morning in Canton. The sheriff says Blouse had been avoiding investigators for nearly 2 weeks.
They've been in hiding for almost 2 weeks. Had their phones turned off, knew that we'd be pinging their phones.
And Blouse is now right here at the Portage County Jail. He is charged with felonious assault and obstructing official business. Now, investigators say that they're still working on possible other charges for anyone else who was involved in this fight. We did speak to Dave's wife. She didn't want to go on camera, but she did share that Dave suffered severe injuries and he is still recovering. Live in Portage County, Brittany Weir, 19 News.
Okay, well, Cleveland Fire called off the search for a man who disappeared in the Cuyahoga River early this morning. Witnesses say the man jumped into the river near the Flatiron Cafe in the Flats. He was attempting to swim across. He sunk below the surface about 20 feet from the riverbank. Cleveland Fire, police, EMS, the Coast Guard all responded. There was a diver sent into the water searching, but they never found him. Cuyahoga County Justice Center is closed to the public today. County officials say power, water issues are affecting both the court towers, even the jail. There are no in-person visits to the jail today. There is no timeline for when the buildings will reopen. The police department is still open. We'll let you know when things open back up.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Well, it is a beautiful day out in the Conneaut area. Lots of sunshine, a few of those fair weather clouds, and yes, even some boaters out taking advantage of some of this beautiful weather. Temperatures are arguably a little on the cooler side. A lot of us are checking in either into the upper 60s or lower to middle 70s. New Philadelphia, one of the kind of lone spots, still sitting mid to upper 70s at this hour, but we'll all get there eventually as we kind of gradually go through the rest of this week. But in terms of an evening forecast, especially for late June, I don't really think you could ask for better. We're going to have low humidity across the area, lots of sunshine, just a little bit of a lighter northwest wind, and temperatures remaining pretty steady here over the next couple of hours. Because we'll stay clear, we're not going to have much wind overnight tonight. Your temperatures are going to get chilly. If you want to kind of take advantage of those windows open and let some of that cooler air in, this is where we're going to be waking up tomorrow. Upper 40s, low to mid 50s. Unseasonable for this time of the year. But we're going to pattern flip this by the end of this weekend. We'll talk about it coming up.
Iran's chief negotiator for talks with the U.S. said the Strait of Hormuz will never return to pre-war conditions. Both sides say the strait is open now while long-term negotiations continue. But what happens after the 60-day period ends remains in question. Natalie Brand with our story.
President Trump arrived in Pennsylvania and touted progress in the Strait of Hormuz.
Yesterday we had 19 barrels of oil, 19 million barrels of oil come off.
The president is also denying Iran's claims that there are no scheduled inspections of Iranian nuclear facilities.
They're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside, and we have it down 100% inspections. And if they were right, I'd cancel the meetings right now.
Iran is disputing the president's statement that unfrozen Iranian assets will be used to exclusively purchase American products.
Iran is the only country who decides what to do with those assets.
The ongoing fighting between Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon is also complicating the larger negotiations. Israel says it struck targets in the southern region today, saying it killed 2 Hezbollah fighters.
If they are going to violate the MOU in any format, including by attacking Lebanon and Hezbollah in Lebanon, then Iran will respond.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his forces will remain in southern Lebanon for as long as needed. CBS News asked the president about that comment on Monday.
Well, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do, but it gets solved. I'm a problem solver. I get problems solved real fast, including with Bibi.
In video posted on social media, Netanyahu also said while he appreciates U.S. support, Israel needs to break free of its dependence on American weapons. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Israel and Lebanon have begun another round of discussions in Washington, D.C. today. Those talks are expected to run through Thursday. The 19 Pump Patrol checking out the latest gas prices. The national average under $4 now, $3.92, $3.89 here in the great state of Ohio. Gas Buddy is helping us find some better deals. We found it for $3.38 at the MAPCO in Stowe, that's on Fish Creek. You'll pay $3.49 at the Circle K in Warrensville Heights on Miles, and it's $3.59 at the Shell on Miles Road. That's in North Randall. Well, we haven't heard from the Cavs for a while. It's been 29 days now since they were swept by the Knicks, but they are back in business tonight for the NBA draft. Mark Schwab is here with a preview. Schwabi?
Yeah, they actually do have a first-round pick tonight. It's the 29th overall. There was a lot of pick swapping going on. So a couple things are going to happen here. They'll either pick a guy and trade him right away to avoid another guaranteed contract, or they'll take somebody you've probably never heard of. That's what you do at 29. You take a gamble, you roll the dice. But make no mistake, this is a veteran team. It's also the most expensive team in the league. And they don't seem to want to move any of their top 4 guys, so you might see a minor move, work on the margins. And now that Giannis is in Miami, the Eastern Conference is going to be even tougher next season.
Cavs, yeah. I mean, the East is only getting tougher. The Pacers are going to be back. They're going to be a good team next year. Orlando should be continuing to improve. Charlotte was one of the better teams in the second half of last season. They're coming. So I think the days of the Eastern Conference kind of being, all right, there's 4 or 5 teams that are kind of okay here, and then everybody else is just kind of hanging in there. So just got to get into the playoffs. I think those days are probably over. You want to try to continue to push and improve your roster where you can, because it's not getting any easier.
All right, so the draft starts around 8:15. They say it's 5 minutes per pick. I don't know if I really buy that because they always stretch this thing out. It takes longer. But I'm guessing Cavs will pick 10:30-ish, if they 11. We'll see. In the studio, Mark Schwab, 19 News.
And while the Cavs get ready for the draft, what are the Browns doing in this offseason? We're going to take a deeper dive into the Browns on every episode of Off the Leash. New episode drops tonight. Watch on 19 News Plus at 6:30, right after 19 News at 6.
Well, lots of folks are out and about enjoying some of the beautiful weather today. Live look from Edgewater Beach. A little bit of wave action out there because you do still have that northerly wind. So just kind of keep that in mind. Anytime you have a north wind, it is going to increase that risk that you could have some rip currents. But we don't really have as typical summer-like lake breeze that is set up. And that's mostly due to the fact that winds pretty much everywhere are out of the north to northwest. So temperatures are sitting upper 60s to about lower 70s. And you'll see that's the case even as you go a little bit farther inland. Worcester dealing dealing with a 15-mile-per-hour wind, Canton about 13 miles per hour. So it does keep the air moving, keeps it maybe a little bit more comfortable here, especially when you're dealing with a little bit more of that sunshine. But overall, cool and comfortable. That's going to be the theme as we transition into tonight. Another great day on tap for tomorrow. I really don't think we have too many in the way of complaints coming in, especially with low humidity and temperatures back into the mid-70s. But keep in mind, we're going to eventually roll that humidity up a little bit more on Thursday, and that will open up the door to some rain chances. We'll talk about those coming up in your full forecast.
We're learning more about internet access coming for people living in East Cleveland. Mayor Sandra Morgan announced the launch of AT&T Fiber in East Cleveland. The city is partnering with AT&T and Jobs Ohio. AT&T also gave away 50 laptops to neighbors who finished digital literacy courses. All right, so for most electric customers in Northeast Ohio, there could be a really sizable increase coming to your bill. First Energy has requested a rate hike. So how much are they asking for? 19 Data journalist Dan DeRose is here now to break this down for us. Dan.
Remember, all utilities, when they want to increase their rate, it has to be done through the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio. They look at it. Is it justifiable? Is it a decent amount? Is it the right amount? And they will rule on it. So you might be saying, hey, Dan, I'm one of those guys that you told to go out on the open market and find a cheaper electricity, so this isn't going to impact me. Oh, no. This is anybody that gets their bill from the illuminating company, Ohio Edison or Toledo Edison. I don't care who you're buying your electricity from. This is all about the transmission. The money that it costs First Energy to take whoever's electricity, put it through their poles, their wires, their system to get you that electricity. That's what they want the increase for. So here we go. What I'm going to do is, it's a little bit different for all three of those agencies that I told you, but I'm going to focus on the illuminating company because that impacts most everybody here in Northeast Ohio. They want to add an extra $5.15 a month each year for 3 years. So it's not just $5.15. So that means in year two, this would start in 2027. In year two, they add another $5.15. So now you're looking at $10.30 added to your bill every month. And in year three, you guessed right, they're going to add another $5.15. So now you're going to pay an extra $15.45 if it goes through. Here's what they want the money for. They want to spend $800 million a year on distribution, getting you the power. $83 million on tree trimming. I had no idea they had that many trees to trim around electric lines. Again, PUCO has a year, Public Utility Commissions of Ohio has a year to review this. And your voice should be heard in this. They will have public hearings probably this fall, but you can go right now to cleveland19.com, click on the story that I wrote on this. There is a link on there where you can put in your disagreement or disapproval, or maybe you approve of this. Maybe you think this is a great idea. If you do, give me a call. I'd like to talk to you.
All right, Dan, thank you. 19 health alert. Some very young children are using GLP-1 weight loss drugs. Childhood obesity rates have soared to record highs since the pandemic, with about 1 in 5 kids now dealing with obesity. So the FDA has approved certain GLP-1 meds for weight loss in kids as young as 12, but data shows some docs are prescribing these drugs off-label to even younger children.
When you have a child that's obese, the likelihood they bring that into adulthood is very high. Kids that are ready are showing signs of type 2 diabetes, liver dysfunction at such a young age. It's really an important ability to be able to help them. But again, this is off-label.
That doc there, an endocrinologist, says doctors need to consider many issues like how restricting calories can lead to nutritional deficiencies that are important for a child's development. Meta is rolling out a new line of AI smart glasses. The new Muse Spark glasses come in 3 styles. An oval model called Kylie, designed by Kylie Jenner. There's a larger and slightly rounder one called Fury, along with a small frame called Adventurer. They can play music, capture images to translate languages, and answer questions about a person's surroundings. It sounds like a lot. Price for the Meta design model start at $299.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Well, I can look outside and tell that it's nice and sunny. I don't need any help from anybody telling me that. 19th Alert meteorologist Erica Page is here. And when it starts raining on Thursday, I'll know that as well.
You will, and you'll know distinctly that the morning will have some rain. We'll get a little break midday, and you'll see more showers and storms developing during the afternoon. Let's kind of walk you through the forecast, because next 24 hours, honestly, is going to be very nice, very similar to what we're dealing with today. Lots of sunshine for tomorrow. A few clouds will build in second part of the day, but still pleasant. It's not going to be an overly humid day. Temperatures will be back into the mid-70s, but eventually we do start to feel that humidity building in during the second part of your Wednesday, and that all culminates with some opportunities for rain as we get into Thursday, and this will largely be a daily chance for rain through the end of this week, looking ahead to the weekend. You'll notice temperatures in Cleveland, 69 degrees. We've got a more 70s and 80s just off to our south and to our west. That eventually is going to be some of the heat that we tap into, but it's going to be a very gradual process to get back to that point. If you like these kind of cooler, more crisp mornings that we've had as of late, enjoy one more that we will have into the 50s. Tomorrow morning is going to be a nice cool start to the day. We'll have a light wind. Skies are still going to remain clear, so that allows that temperature to efficiently drop for some upper 40s to lower 50s. And then we're going to be back into the mid to upper 70s through the day tomorrow. Again, a couple spots could hit 80 degrees, but I largely think most of us will stay into the 70s. Then we're just waiting on that rain chance to build. That will happen Thursday into Friday, and then we'll gradually start to see coverage decreasing by the start of the weekend. Let's take you through a future view. Tomorrow, again, things are quiet to start the day. We'll have a couple clouds around the area, but late tomorrow night, that's when you're going to start to see our pattern developing this better opportunity for rain. I think a morning opportunity will be around. We'll quiet things down during the middle part of the day on Thursday, and then as you heat that temperature up, more scattered showers and thunderstorms will be possible during the afternoon and early evening.
Now your top 4 at 4. The state Supreme Court declined to review Mackenzie Sharilla's case. Her appeal will not be heard. And her new attorneys claimed her previous attorneys missed a critical legal deadline. They didn't account for a leap year, and that one day meant she missed the deadline to file an appeal. The Ohio Supreme Court, however, says it is not in their jurisdiction to review that issue. Sharilla is serving 15 years to life in prison for the deaths of her boyfriend and their friend back in 2022. Medical examiner's office identified the woman killed in a deadly Akron fire. She is 86-year-old June Denisiak. She lived at the home. Yesterday, crews responded to a house fire on Chippewa Avenue. They removed the victim and took her to a hospital where she unfortunately later died from soot and smoke inhalation, we're told. Investigators continue to try and work out what happened. In Portage County, police arrested a man who got into a fight at a winery. Police say Eric Blouse was at the Cove Winery 2 weeks ago when an argument went too far and ended with what police say was an assault. Now, according to police, Blouse and his group were mad that they couldn't take wine off property to a boat. The victim, the bar owner, was seriously hurt. Blouse now has been charged with assault. The NFL announced it will not hold a supplemental draft, which is bad news for embattled quarterback Brendan Sorsby. He is now basically stuck in limbo. He's just not going to be able to play this year. Many thought the Browns would try and draft him, but they never, of course, confirmed that. Sorsby, who admitted to gambling $90,000 on pro and college sports, is ineligible to play in college. Some big-name bands are giving their merchandise a second life as the U.S. punk rock group Social Distortion goes on tour. Their fans are buying T-shirts and hoodies recycled from old concert tees. Unsold shirts sitting in warehouses are being broken down, turned into new yarn to create fresh stuff. Musicians say it's all about making the industry a bit greener.
I care tremendously about our environment and the future. I have a grandson now. I want him to enjoy the same things that I enjoyed. Fresh water, fresh air.
All right, the company behind the plan, which produces merchandise for major artists, says it hopes to scale up the idea and get more bands in tune with sustainability. So one community is dealing with constant power outages for nearly a year now. Help has finally arrived. A new transmitter being installed to hopefully keep the lights on. Vic Gideon on the first step in what has been a long journey.
First Energy making good on its promise to help people in the city of Lakewood.
What we have here today is one of the milestones within that plant, and we're going to be installing the first of 2 brand new transformers within this Lakewood substation right here behind me.
We don't trust you, so you got to make good.
First Energy held a town hall meeting last August after repeated and significant issues with power.
The customers within this area had a very serious and fair question, which was, when is our reliability going to improve? Actually, one of the transformers that we're replacing here today, it failed here in May of 25.
The first of 2 transformers being delivered to this substation is significant, but First Energy promises it's not all they're doing to help the customers here in Lakewood.
This is just one milestone, but our excitement is really around reestablishing the trust with this community. It's going out and replacing, poor and old condition equipment on our poles. Over 160 poles we've replaced the equipment on.
First Energy also says reliability has already improved by trimming trees and replacing breakers. The new transmitter will go online by September, while the second gets delivered later this summer.
This is what we promised to our community. We are going to improve overall reliability and resiliency, and this backbone will allow us to do that.
As the electricity provider tries to meet the demand for today and tomorrow. In Lakewood, Vic Gideon, 19 News.
All right, I want to mention our breaking news box down there, as we've got a breaking news story, a big one, unfolding, at least for now. And the hope is that this won't last too long. What you're looking at is the Jennings Freeway south out of downtown Cleveland, completely closed because there's a car on fire on the ramp at Spring. We're going to keep that picture up, and we'll continue to update you because nobody getting through on the Jennings as we speak southbound out of the city right now. Tragic story now. A 3-year-old girl died after a car hit her while she was eating outside with family members. Happened at the Pavilion Shopping Center in Beechwood. The victim is from Shaker Heights. Police charged the driver, Jasmine McFadden, with aggravated vehicular homicide. She appeared in court, and the judge set bond at $100,000. A passenger, Kenneth McFadden, is also charged in the case after police say he lied to them, saying he was the driver. A 19 crime alert. Take a look at your screen. Mansfield police are looking for that guy. He's wanted in connection with several car and truck break-ins that happened along Lexington Avenue. If you recognize this person, give police a call. If you make a call with a tip, you can remain anonymous.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
All right, live look outside from our apartment tower cameras. Certainly a lot of blue sky and sunshine across the area. You can see a few of those fair weather clouds in the mix, but for the most part, I mean, this has really been a banner day across the area. Yes, temperatures are a little bit cooler than where we should be for this time of the year. Cleveland right now, actually one of the cooler spots, sitting at 69 degrees. Everywhere else, we're pretty much into the lower 70s. But again, you've got a lot of sunshine. You don't have much in the way of humidity, and that's going to kind of hold things pretty steady here for us over the next few hours. I do think your evening is going to be met with a ton of sunshine. Winds pretty light out of the northwest, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And as you get into that overnight period, it is certainly possible some spots wake up into the upper 40s to about lower 50s as we get our day started tomorrow. We're still below average for your Wednesday, but improvements are on the way along with a rain chance. We'll talk about that coming up in just a couple minutes.
Today's show host Savannah Guthrie with a new plea that after the revelation, a note believed to be from Nancy Guthrie's kidnapper said she had died. Brian Abel has the latest on this case, law enforcement's response to the note, and the agonizing plea from Savannah.
Somebody knows something.
Savannah Guthrie Tuesday morning publicly reacting on the Today Show to the news that a ransom note investigators believe is from the kidnappers of her mother, Nancy, said that she had died.
This is the life that my sister lives, that I live, that my brother lives, that our extended families live, that our children live every day. And we are in agony.
The note sent to media outlets said Nancy Guthrie died shortly after the February 1st kidnapping from her Tucson, Arizona home, and that the abductors didn't mean to kill her. A week after the kidnapping, Savannah seemingly responding to that note on Instagram.
We received your message, and we understand.
If true, some experts suggest the timing of her death would match the evidence of the case.
We know that her cardiac monitor stopped reading any sort of a signal on that evening.
Details of the note were not reported at the request of law enforcement authorities in an effort to protect the investigation.
The criminals were trying to, in real time, create a defense that they didn't mean for her. It doesn't matter, but that they didn't mean for her to die.
The Pima County Sheriff's Department, the lead agency on the investigation, told CNN only that it remains active and ongoing.
We cannot be at peace. So no matter how much I try to come out here every day and smile and find that joy, and I will, I promise I will. This is a moment to tell you that we need your help. We're begging for your help.
In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
Well, July 4th will mark 1 year since devastating floods killed more than 100 people in Texas Hill Country, including 25 girls, 2 counselors, and the director at Camp Mystic. Officials and community groups have spent the past year working to rebuild now and place survivors in permanent housing after last summer's deadly floods in Kerrville County.
1 year later, recovery is visible in Kerr County. Families are coming home. Neighborhoods are rebuilding. Some neighborhoods are being completely built out of the ground.
The not-for-profit Community Foundation of the Texas Hill Country says over the past year, more than $80 million has been granted for flood recovery efforts. It says the money is being used for housing, mental health, economic recovery, environmental restoration, and community rebuilding. Camp Mystic is not reopening this summer, and they are facing several pending lawsuits.